Hi guys, it's so good to see you. I know I said I was only going to do audio only from now on, but I just missed you guys so much. I thought I would pop on here and give a live message today. So we're going to talk about the material world and how it's really only manifestations of your belief that you're witnessing. So we're going to start off by really truly examining whatever it is that you're going through right now. If there's some area of your life that you feel not satisfied in, I want you to see that it has been you and only your mind that has done this, that has created this here in your life, and therefore you can change it. You don't need to be stuck in this. You can move forward into the future and change things for yourself. So look at the current, whatever area it is. Maybe there's more than one, but look at the current area of your life that is causing you the most grief and harm. Let's give an example today of career. Okay, so let's say that every day you're going to work and you're like, dang it, I don't want to be going to work. I can't stand this. I have no passion for this job. And maybe there's insecurity that is even there within your work of, what if tomorrow, this happens or whatever. Maybe there's fears or things that are around there too. So, yes, I'm drinking McDonald's coffee that they only filled up like here. It was very disappointing. Also a sign I probably shouldn't be drinking this, but I put love in it, so it's good for me. Not advertising for them, but kind of. It's really good coffee. Anyway, so let's say that you've got your career and there's no passion behind it. There's no nothing. So the way that you're going to determine why it is that you're stuck in what it is and why you're not having some other opportunity or something else come to you, we're going to figure this out. And this is all going to be based on your beliefs. So first of all, you're going to take the things about your career or whatever it is, but this is our example, that you don't like about it. Okay, so write down all the things. I don't like this, right? Maybe it's not the thing I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe there's people that you have to work with. Maybe it's not stable. Maybe you don't, maybe it's your own business. And so you're, insecure about it of what if this dries up or, whatever it happens to be. List off all of those negative things, every single one of them. So like make yourself a list and write these down. And when you do this, you're going to see the things that you're believing about it, right? That this isn't the thing that's meant for me. Okay, well, that's a belief. You believe that it's not meant for you. Okay, well, so then this is showing you that obviously there's something else that is, right? There's something else that is. Maybe you don't know what that is yet. And so you're in that period of, well, I know that this isn't it, but I don't know what it is. Cool. Once you got to the, I know that it's not this, at least you have half of it figured out. You know that it's not that, right? Whereas at one point, maybe you did think that it was that, or maybe you stepped into that hoping that it could become that. Or maybe you just got it because you needed the money and you needed a job, in which case there will be beliefs behind that as well. Okay, so determine all of these things about this job that are not for you. And then read that list. And I want you to see that all of the things that are on that list are all backed by your beliefs. Okay, so this is not meant for me, right? You believe that it's not meant for you. People are mean to me. Okay, you believe that the people there are mean to you. Whatever happens to be. Once you've got this list, then you're going to examine it and you are going to see and be truthfully honest with yourself. You can only do this in that way. And some people don't like to be honest. Some people don't like to look at themselves. They like to place the blame outside of themselves. These people are never going to grow because it's only us. It's only us. I can't control your life. I can only control my life, right? So once you determine this, once you get your list, you're going to look at that and you're going to see what all beliefs are underlying here. And so you will go through each one at a time, and then you can sit and you can meditate about it and you can think, where was the first time that this same thing popped up in my life? Okay, maybe it started way back in the day with the very first job that you had, that you got it, and you got it because you needed some money. Okay, whatever it happened to be. We're going back in time to figure out where this began. So if you started a job, let's say that you're 16, 15, however old it is, you get your first job. And that first job is based purely on the amount of hours that you're there equals this amount of money. Did you love that job? Were you like, I can't wait till I turn 16 so I can go get this job because I'm just so passionate about it? Or did you get that job because you needed to, or you wanted the money, or whatever it happened to be? Look at the attitude, look at the belief that came into play when you got that very first job. Because we repeat these patterns over and over and over. This is why I didn't want my children working, and one of them did when he was younger, and I see now, just a normal wage job, right? I wanted my children to have high paying, not a lot of hours kind of job, right? Because we get into these patterns and then we repeat them forever and ever and ever until we become aware of them. Okay, so sorry, I get off track. So looking back, take the beliefs that you have on your sheet and go back and then examine where they very first came from. And then examine what beliefs either came from that or were already present. So in that example, we take this job, I currently don't like it, but I need the money. Sit in that, meditate, go back. When was the very first job I had that I didn't love, but I needed the money? Okay. You go back to being however old. Okay. And so now we're dealing with that. And so then examine that. Why did you need the money? What beliefs are around there? So maybe your parents didn't give you money. Maybe your parents didn't have any money. So maybe you had to work. Maybe you had to get a job when you were that old. List off all of those beliefs, right? We're going deep here. We are going as deep as possible. List off all the reasons why you had to get that job or why you wanted it. And what all beliefs were around there of, oh, I gotta work a long time to make a little bit of money. What are all the beliefs that are there? Because your world is only comprised, your material world is only comprised of your beliefs. That is it, only. So what beliefs did you grab onto way back then that you didn't even know? You didn't even know that you did it. You didn't even know that this was a thing. You weren't even aware. We weren't aware. What beliefs did you grab onto and which ones do you still hold within you? So if it's like, okay, well, I have to work this hard and I only make this much money, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so maybe this is all that you've ever known. So then this is a deeply ingrained belief that will just keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back and keep playing out, right? Because you believe that that's the only way that you get money is by doing these certain things. So why do we want to do this? Because once we examine why we're experiencing what we're experiencing and we identify which beliefs have led us to this place, then we can change them through this awareness. We can then change it, because if we're not aware of it, we can't change it because we don't know what to change. You know what I'm saying? So once we become aware that this is the reason why this is happening, then we can change it. You can only change it on a subconscious level, meaning our mind, our subconscious, works through pictures and images. Everything that is in your subconscious mind is everything. It is literally everything about you. It knows everything about you. It has all of your memories. It has your present life. It has your past life. I don't know if it's actually our past life or if it is memories from our ancestors or whatever it happens to be. I'm sure it's our soul. I mean, this is my belief, but we have all of these things in our subconscious mind and they remain there for eternity unless we correct or change them. The only way that you can correct or change it is through subconscious work, by working with a hypnotist, hypnotherapist, or another subconscious healer, which I don't know of any others, or through meditation, because you're taking yourself into that same state, right? So what my work is all theta state. So you come into my office, we're talking, you're telling me your problem, and I'm like, excellent, making notes, okay, great, now we know what to work on. Then we're putting you in the theta state. So this state means your brainwaves are cycling a little bit slower. This is the same state that you go into when you're meditating. The difference between hypnosis and meditation is that we're actually changing something. That's the difference. And so when we go in, or correcting something, so we go into this theta where all of the information is stored, And then this is where we make changes in the subconscious mind. So if there is a belief there and it's like, yeah, but I believe this because it's true. Every belief that you have is true. It will become true for you. It doesn't mean it's truth. There's a difference between the truth and what becomes true for us, right? I know I've given this example several times, but I'm going to give it again. So imagine that you have low self-esteem. So you think that, certain people don't like you. Lots of people don't like you, maybe. You're in school. Let's go back to high school. You're walking down the hallway. You see a group of people. They're standing around. They're all just talking together. And one of them looks over at you and then looks back and keeps talking at the group. Okay, now depending on your belief, you might think that that person now is looked at you and now they're talking about you and now they're in this group and you're like, oh, great, those people are talking about me over there. Right? This is very possible that this could happen. Is it true that they're talking about you? Who freaking knows? It doesn't, who knows? Maybe yes, maybe no. It doesn't matter. Maybe you've worried about this for a long time and so it has become true and maybe they are. Here's the difference. When you don't believe that, then the exact same thing could come on if you have high self-esteem and you see a group of people and they're talking and then one of them looks over at you and they look back. You will think nothing of it. You won't think that now they're talking about me. You'll think whatever other thing that you want to think about. And it all has to do with your belief that you previously held, which dictates and colors all of the experiences that you have in your life. Now, if you had the low self-esteem and you've now seen this group of people and you now believe that they are talking about you, this has now reinforced that belief in yourself that people don't like you. And it's been like your proof, right? Of, see, I knew it because now they're talking about me over there or whatever it happens to be, right? You have solidified the belief that you have, even though it's not even truth. It is true for you because you're experiencing it as the truth. And so it might as well have happened because it's the truth for you. So do you understand what I'm saying when I say that your beliefs cloud over all the actual experiences in your life? And our mind is constantly seeking for this proof. It's constantly seeking the proof. And so when it sees something like that, it takes it as proof, even though it's not. It doesn't matter that it's not. It will take it as proof and it will add it into the list of things that's like, see, there's more proof, and then it solidifies the belief, not the truth, but the belief that you currently hold within you. So you could go your whole life, let's say that this started when you were 15 years old, and now you are 37, and you still believe that, and you have all of these proofs from all of the years and all of these experiences that you've gone through that has solidified that and makes you think that, you know what, my self-esteem on a scale of 1 to 10 is at a 4 because of all of these proofs, when they're not truth. They are proof of your belief. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that your material world is comprised only of your beliefs? Okay, so people, another example, who are used to certain things. So let's say that you grew up in a house and you had a lot of money. Okay, so you're going to get used to this. You're going to be used to it. You're going to expect it, and your life is going to play out in a certain way. Okay. Yep, it's still good. I added my own honey. Now, you grew up with a lot of money, so what happens here in the future? You're so used to that, and you expect it, that it really doesn't matter about your current situation. You're still going to have that money. Purely because of belief. And an example of this would be that you haven't had lack, so you are not now expecting it to come in the future. And so because you're not expecting it, because you don't believe in lack, because you've never experienced it, you will never experience it. So this is why people who grow up and they have forever. And this is why people who grew up and they either don't have forever, or they do something to change it and say, no, this was the belief of my parents. This was the whatever to do with my parents, and that has nothing to do with me. This life is not for me. And they can actively change it. Or they will become a victim to it. They will see what their parents have done. They will play out the exact same thing that their parents did, and then they will be in lack their whole life because they were born in lack. And so there is a belief that they are deserving of this lack. And so then that will play out in all the facets of their life. So what they're getting is proof of belief over and over and over. That's all that we see. So the manifestations in our current world. So if I was to look around my room, look at here. Okay, look at all of these things that I have sitting here on my dresser back here. All of these things that I have. Okay, if I was to look around at all of these things that I have here, every single one of them was manifested into this world through some man's mind or woman, through someone's consciousness. All of these things only exist because of somebody else's consciousness. Do you know what I'm saying? It first began as an idea. Somebody was like, here, can I zoom into this back here? That hand. Okay, somebody had an idea of, oh, I want to make this beautiful gold hand, right? It began as an idea in some man's mind. Then he talked about it. He said, hey, I'm going to make this thing. And then he took action and created it. And it now exists in our material world. But it began in consciousness, through thought. Every single thing. This painting that's back here, I did that. How did that begin? It began in here. Thought, oh, I want to paint. Oh, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to create this thing. And it all began in my consciousness. This is where every single thing begins. Every single thing. Including the experiences that you have in your life, not just material. This is my example of the material world materializing, right? It began in consciousness, and now it has become material in my world. If I was to look in front of me, I have dresses hanging up. These are material things, right? They all began in some person's mind, and some person then created them. But what happened even before this? Somebody had to make the material. All of these things, and all of these things began in someone's mind, in our consciousness. All of it. So what we hold in our consciousness becomes material. And this is in every facet. So this is my example of the material things. But the beliefs that we hold are just as tangible in the long run as the material items that we can hold. So if someone believes they are not deserving or worthy, this is going to play out in their life. They are going to have experiences that are going to prove to them that they are not deserving and not worthy. Meaning, they're going to have relationships that are going to come in and that are going to prove this to them. They are going to have all kinds of experiences that are going to come in that are going to prove this to them. But the only thing that they are proving to themselves is not truth, it is belief. So when we hold these beliefs about ourselves, so let me give you some examples here, because I work with a ton of people, and it's all a very similar story here, right? Everyone has their own story, but it's all a very similar thing of, I felt great, I'm 3 years old, life is wonderful, and then this thing happened, and now I don't feel as good about myself. It's always, things are great, and now things have changed. This is the pattern that plays out. And it all comes from some incident. So something that was either done or said. And because we take these things in and believe them, even though they're not true, or it's our perception that is taking it in and making it be a certain way, because this is how I can help people heal, is that they've taken this belief in and that they've believed it, but it was purely their perception of the incident at the time, right? So I'll give you an example here. So let's say that someone is like 6 years old or something, 6 or 7. They have, a family member come over and they've drawn a picture and they show it to their aunts, and their aunt is like, that doesn't look like a dog. That's ridiculous. That looks like a horse. You're so funny, blah, 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 or whatever it is, right? And then this little child is embarrassed because they're like, I thought it was a really good dog, and now they said it's a horse, and everybody's laughing at me. And then now this person within themselves doesn't feel good. They feel embarrassed. They're angry. They're holding internal anger because this person has harmed them. And so this anger is really actually the underlying issue of it is actually hurt, right? Because I was supposed to trust you and now you've embarrassed me, and so I'm feeling very sad and very hurt, and this makes me very angry. And so then all of these emotions can come from one incident that happened a freaking million years ago, and it is now stuck in your subconscious mind, and it is there, and it is now a belief that is dictating the rest of your life. And you now feel a certain way that you didn't feel before, and you now feel this way for essentially ever. If it happened when you were 4 years old, or if sometimes it happens to people in the womb, sometimes it happens before that, how are you ever going to change that or resolve it? Because you don't know why that feeling is there. So when we do subconscious healing, we go back and we actually heal this. So we look at it from a different perspective. What is the real perspective? Was that aunt trying to embarrass you? Well, probably not. She probably just thought it was funny. And either way, it's a way of looking at the situation that brings relief to the younger you, because like I've said a million times, we are not our bodies, but we are the energetic system that underlies our bodies. And so if that belief came in and now this person is holding this belief within them, it is affecting their energetic body, and that is determining how their body functions, how they feel, and their world, everything in their world. And so because that is low vibe, that's low frequency. If you believe those things about yourself, that you're not deserving or that you're not worthy, they're low vibe. They're not in alignment with the truth. They're not in alignment with divine love. And because they're low, they will cause you to suffer in some way, because they're not the truth. The truth will set you free every single time. Every single time it will set you free. I had the truth brought to me. And sometimes the truth can be extremely painful. But I had the truth brought to me, when I had left my marriage. I had left because I had discovered the truth. He's cheating, he's all lying, all the things. And so this truth at the time was extremely painful, like so hard to deal with. This was the hardest, I would say, following 6 months of my life, right? Because I was just heartbroken and destroyed by this truth. However, I'm so thankful for it now. So thankful for it now. But that truth at that time also set me free, because I had this feeling. I knew something was up. I knew I was being lied to. But I was told over and over and over, no, 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 no. And so I started doubting this internal knowing that I had, that something was up. Self-doubt. Started doubting myself. So this affected me to the point that, like, when I would go, like, I've been doing what I do, hypnotherapy, hypnosis with my clients for since 2015. So a long time. And so I used to go and I would walk to my office. It was not too far from us. So I would be walking down the street, going, I have a client coming, and I would just tune into the divine and get intuitive message. Why is this person coming? What is it that they need from me? Perfect. And so I would know before they ever even walked in the door why they're coming and exactly what we need to do to resolve it before they ever walked into my office. This was very effective. Now, what happened was, because of all of this self-doubt that I had from him and from that situation, I started doubting myself. And so then my intuition is turning off, and I'd be like, what is this person coming from? And I might just not get it because of all of the doubt that I had within me, because there was this deep knowing that something was wrong, that I was being lied to. This deep knowing, I knew it all inside of me, but because of this doubt that I had, it was actually damaging me. So when he finally told me, along with the extreme heartbreak and destruction that I was internally feeling, I also had this feeling of relief, of like, okay, I can trust myself because I did know. I need to never doubt myself ever again because I did know. And so that really set me free. This horrible truth that came out, but it wasn't horrible because it set me free, and it set me free from him. Now I don't got to be with him anymore. Hallelujah. And it completely changed my life. He always told me that he thought I would leave him for spiritual reasons. And I guess he's right. His belief became true because I am the most spiritual person that I know. It's all I think about. It's my whole life. And he was damaging that, and me in the process. But I'm so thankful for it. And he didn't just do that to me. I feared it. Well, first of all, I'd had dreams about it, but I would have these visions of him being with prostitutes, and I would allow myself to indulge in it. Like, I wouldn't just immediately kick it out. And this came to me many times over the years, but I would just be like, what? Dismiss it. And you know what? That's exactly what happened. It came from here, out here, manifested, and was brought into my world. So I can't even blame him. I mean, he did it, not because of this, but this is how it came into my world. So, man, that is good coffee. So I know that I am manifesting constantly through my thoughts. And so you cannot indulge in these lowly thoughts. You cannot. You need to recognize that this is not love. This is not the divine. And dismiss them and say, that is not for me. And then replace it with something that is wonderful. Sprinkle some heaven on it. This is me, my good friend Alice here. This is when we're talking, it's like, we'll talk about something, and it's like, oh, this is going on. And I'm like, Alice, let's sprinkle some heaven on it. And she's like, let's do it. And we're sprinkling heaven on everything. Why? So that we're only creating the good, so that we are only manifesting and putting out the good karma that we want returned back to us. Because when we don't do this, then we are going to have things show up in our material world that we don't want, because we allowed ourselves to indulge in the low frequencies, the low vibe thoughts. We allowed ourselves to feed the hell. There's heaven thoughts, there's hell thoughts. This is worry. This is anything that is fear-based. This is anything that is love-based. Now, when I'm working in the love, I'm feeding the love, and therefore I'm creating more of it. But when I'm working in the hell, I'm feeding it, and therefore I'm creating so much more of it, and it is going to manifest, and it is going to come back in my material world, and eventually I'm going to be like, here, I'm holding all this hell, and I'm like, well, I created this. I don't want this, and now I'm going to get angry that I've got all this hell here, and I'm going to feed it even more. Whereas when we feed the love with our thought, with every thought that we have, when we feed the love, then we get more. We get more, and we get more, and we get more, and we get more of it. Now, I'm not saying that when you're constantly feeding the love, that you're not going to have, you know, lower vibe things that come into your life. You will when you start out doing this, for sure, because we're not in that perfect divine state, so we're not expecting this perfection to come back to us yet, right? So let's say that you're putting out 90% heaven. Well, that means that 10% is hell, and so you're going to get 10% hell back. I don't want that. You don't want that. Who would want that? Nobody wants that. We don't want that. So let's get rid of the 10% of hell. But you know what? It's probably a lot more than that, because a lot of people are feeding most of their day in the hell just through their thoughts. I'm not saying what it is that you're talking about, and those matter. That matters huge. But I'm saying even just in your thoughts, what percent of them are feeding the beast and what percent of them are feeding the truth? It matters, because that is what is going to come back and eventually appear as material in your world. So back to the job thing. If you have a job that you don't like, your career that you don't like, write out all the things that you don't like about it. Determine all the beliefs behind it of, I don't like these things. Why am I doing this anyways? If I don't like this, why am I doing this? What are the beliefs there that are leading me to believe that I must do this thing that I do not like to do? And determine those beliefs, and then heal those beliefs. And once you've healed those beliefs, then your material world will change. It really is as simple as that. You will see your way out of the stuckness that you are in, and you'll be able to see a way out. I was stuck. I understand that sometimes it feels like there's no way out, that sometimes it honestly feels like you're stuck. And for that time, at that time, perhaps you are. But there is always a way out. It is always our perspective. It is always something about our perspective that needs to change. And once we change it, then we're like, why did I think I was stuck there? Frick, I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have done all of these things. Why did I believe that? Why did I think I was stuck there? And everything can change so quickly when you change your perspective. So this is all I got for you guys here today. Thanks for tuning in. It was so nice to see you. And I will see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.